Sairam, welcome back to the story time. In continuation to the uh, narration of Yudhishthira and his qualities, let's start. Yesterday, we have seen how he took care of all the people who followed him during the exile. In continuation, that join me. King Yudhishthira was popularly known as Ajatasattu, that is, a man having no enemy at all. In fact, he was not unfriendly to anyone. He ever entertained goodwill even for those who bore hostility to him. In his view, even the enemies deserved service and sympathy. To do good to the evildoers is an important mark of a saint. उमा संत कई इहई बड़ाई मंद करता जो करई भलाई. O Uma, the greatness of a saint lies in the fact that he does good even to the evildoers. This saying of Goswami Tulasidasa is fully exemplified in the character of King Yudhishthira. Once it so happened that when the Pandavas were staying in Dvaitavana, Duryodhana, accompanied by ministers, brothers, the ladies of the apartment, a large army reached the forest with a vile view to make the Pandavas envious of his glory. There he arrived at the pool to play in the water on whose bank lived Yudhishthira in a cottage made of himself. Now, this pool was already encircled by the demigods. Duryodhana entered into a conflict with them. In no time, a very terrible and horripilant battle started between them. However, the Gandharvas came out victorious. They took under their custody not only Duryodhana but his queen also. When King Yudhishthira came to know about it, he ordered his brothers to get King Duryodhana liberated by force. Taking it for granted that they are hostile to us, they are undoubtedly in trouble, said he. At present, it is our solemn duty to help them out, dismissing from our minds their evil doings. Hostile though they are undoubtedly our kith and kin. How can we tolerate seeing them ill treated by others? That was Yudhishthira's saying. In no time, Arjuna overpowered Gandharvas by showering arrows and freed Duryodhana as well as his brother and queens from their captivity. Having come to know about the conspiracy designed by Duryodhana, it was Indra, the presiding deity, who had intentionally deputed the Gandharvas to make Duryodhana captive and bring him there. They were wonder-struck to see the large-heartedness of King Yudhishthira. Blessed be the state of having no enemy. Another incident. Once upon a time, leaving behind Draupadi alone in the hermitage, the Pandavas went into the forest. Soon Jayadratha, the king of Sindhu and brother-in-law of Duryodhana, came up there. Seeing the matchless grace and beauty of Draupadi, an evil desire arose in his heart. He put forth his sinful intention before Draupadi, but she scornfully turned down his proposal. Then he forcibly dragged Draupadi and hurling her into the chariot made off with her. Later on, when the Pandavas came to know of his misconduct, they chased him before long seized him. It took the Pandavas no time to destroy his army completely. Sinful Jayadratha, being afraid, let Draupadi step down from his chariot and himself ran away for his life. Bhimasena ran after him and having captured him before long, presented him before Dharmaraja. In consideration of the fact that he was a relative, Dharmaraja took pity on him and let him go, and thus showered an extraordinary sense of forgiveness and compassion. King Yudhishthira was not only a profound scholar and well versed in ethics and dharma, but also had an excellent sense of equanimity. Once, in the forest where the Pandavas dwelt, a deer was trying to remove the itching sensation of his horns by rubbing against the churning wood with its strings, belonging to a Brahmana which was suspended on a tree. The wooden churner got stuck into his horns. The deer ran away with it. Finding it difficult to perform Agnihotra, the offering they do for obligation to the fire, the Brahmin approached the Pandavas and prayed them to bring back the wooden churner. Dharmaraja, with his 4 brothers, ran after the deer, but in the twinkling of an eye it disappeared from their sight. The Pandavas were very much tired besides being overpowered with thirst. At the behest of Dharmaraja, Nakula went out in search of water. Not far away from there he came upon a beautiful pool. Advancing towards it, no sooner did he bend down to drink water than he heard an oracle. First answer my questions, then you may drink water. But Nakula was overpowered with thirst. He paid no heed to that oracle. As a result, as soon as he drank water, he lay down dead. Then Dharmaraja sent Sahadeva, Arjuna, and Bhimasena one after the other, and one by one all the 3 met the same fate. At last, Dharmaraja himself arrived at the pool. He too heard similar warning and noticed his 4 brothers lying motionless on the ground. Meanwhile, he spied a huge Aksha, a demigod. He told Yudhishthira that his brothers were reduced to such a miserable condition only on account of drinking water without answering my questions, and warned that he would be doomed if he also tried to act in an unsightful manner. Yudhishthira expressed his concern to answer his questions. Yudhishthira befittingly answered to the satisfaction of Yaksha all the questions asked by him. These are called the Yaksha Prasnas. Being pleased with his answers, the Yaksha said, "O king, I shall revive any one of your brothers you want to be revived." Dharmaraja expressed the desire that he wanted to see Nakula alive. On being interrogated about his choice, he said, "My father had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. The 2 are equal in my eyes. I wish that each of them have one son. I am the son of Kunti and I am alive. So I desire that one of Madri's sons should also remain alive. That is why I have expressed my preference for Nakula instead of Bhima or Arjuna." This divine play was enacted by Dharma embodiment in order to test the wisdom of Yudhishthira's dedication to Dharma. He was much pleased on noticing such a marvelous sense of equanimity displayed by Yudhishthira, and having revealed his identity to him, revived all of his 4 brothers. Dharma further said, "It was I who took away the wooden churner belonging to the Brahmana. Here it is, you can take it." Having approached the Brahmana, Yudhishthira returned him the wooden churner. Yudhishthira was not only a man of virtuous conduct but also modest. He was very skilled in shaping his behavior appropriate to the occasion. He was always conscious in offering due respect to elderly people. He did not fail to observe social decorum even in the most strained circumstances. Prior to the breaking out of the battle of Mahabharata, when the 2 armies stood facing each other ready to fight, he entered the enemy forces and made obeisance to the grandfather Bhishma, Drona, Krupacharya, the preceptors and maternal uncle Salya, and craved for their blessings. All of these elderly people were very glad at his humility and behavior worthy of cultured people, and from the core of their hearts wished for his victory. All the 4 persons expressed regret for fighting under compulsion on behalf of Kauravas, who were unjust and considered it as their weakness. This ideal behavior of Yudhishthira was approved by Lord Sri Krishna himself. As far as the truthfulness of Yudhishthira is concerned, it was universally acknowledged. He would never resort to false for fear or greed. It was the fruit of his truthfulness that the wheels of his chariot always rolled on a little above the ground. He uttered a lie only once during his lifetime. On the pretext of the death of Ashwathama, the elephant, he falsely declared before Dronacharya that Ashwathama Aswathama, the son of Drona, was dead. On account of this deviation from truth made only once during his lifetime, the wheels of his chariot started rolling on in close proximity to the ground, and he was obliged to have a look at the scene, pseudo hell, though for a moment. Marvelous was the Yudhishthira's magnanimity. When the Kauravas became adamant not to return their territory, he agreed to remain contented even if only 5 villages were released in his favor and sent the message to Duryodhana, Lord Krishna, that he could refrain from fighting if he accepted the proposal of transferring for 5 villages to them. But Duryodhana refused to give them in measure to the point of needle bit of land. Consequently, they were forced to fight. Further, when Duryodhana's entire army having been utterly destroyed, and he himself sought shelter in a tank, Yudhishthira arrived at the tank and challenging him for the last time to a duel said, "You can enter into a combat with anyone of your choice. In case you come out victorious in the duel with any of us, you will be entitled the entire territory. Who else can dare offer to make such a proposal?" It was the work of a high-souled personage like Yudhishthira to put such a proposal before Duryodhana, to combat with whom in the mace fight even Bhima, who was the strongest of all the Pandavas, hesitated. At last it was decided that he would enter into combat with Bhimasena, and he was killed by Bhimasena. That's all for today. Let's continue it tomorrow. Until then, just understand and analyze the qualities and what you would like more to take forward. Every soul, I feel, is pure at heart, at the core. There are all these qualities of good qualities inherent in them. It is we, by culturing them, by coming into activities or people are that kind of good circle, we get into more such activities, those qualities are nourished. For those who are already into that line, they would enjoy continuing so and helping others as well. Until next, take a deep breath and relax. Sai Ram.